In today's video, I'll answer your question, what is Palm Sunday? Then afterward, as always, I'll share some helpful resources, so stick around until the end. Palm Sunday is the day we celebrate the triumphal entry of Jesus into Jerusalem 1 week before his resurrection. As Jesus entered the holy city, he neared the culmination of a long journey toward Golgotha. He had come to save the lost, and now was the time, this was the place to secure that salvation. Palm Sunday marked the start of what is often called Passion Week, the final 7 days of Jesus' earthly ministry. Palm Sunday began with Jesus and his disciples traveling over the Mount of Olives. The Lord sent 2 disciples ahead into the village of Bethphage to find an animal to ride. They found the unbroken colt of a donkey, just as Jesus had said they would. When they untied the colt, the owners began to question them. The disciples responded with the answer Jesus had provided. The Lord needs it. Luke chapter 19, verse 31 through 34. Amazingly, the owners were satisfied with that answer and let the disciples go. They brought the donkey to Jesus, threw their cloaks on the colt, and put Jesus on it. Luke chapter 19, verse 35. As Jesus ascended toward Jerusalem, a large multitude gathered around him. This crowd understood that Jesus was the Messiah. What they did not understand was that it wasn't time to set up the kingdom yet, although Jesus had tried to tell them so. See Luke chapter 19, verses 11 through 12. The crowd's actions along the road give rise to the name Palm Sunday. A very large crowd spread their cloaks on the road, while others cut branches from the trees and spread them on the road. Matthew chapter 21, verse 8. In strewing their cloaks on the road, the people were giving Jesus the royal treatment. King Jehud was given similar honor at his coronation in 2 Kings chapter 9, verse 13. John records the detail that the branches they cut were from palm trees. John chapter 12, verse 13. On that first Palm Sunday, the people also honored Jesus verbally. The crowds that went ahead of him and those that followed shouted, "Hosanna to the Son of David. Blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. Hosanna in the highest heaven." Matthew chapter 21, verse 9. In their praise of Jesus, the Jewish crowds were quoting Psalm chapter 118, verses 25 through 26, an acknowledged prophecy of the Christ. The allusion to a messianic psalm drew resentment from the religious leaders present. Some of the Pharisees in the crowd said to Jesus, "Teacher, rebuke your disciples." Luke chapter 19, verse 39. However, Jesus saw no need to rebuke those who told the truth. He replied, "I tell you, if they keep quiet, the stones will cry out." Luke chapter 19, verse 40. Some 450 to 500 years prior to Jesus' arrival in Jerusalem, the prophet Zechariah had prophesied the event we now call Palm Sunday. "Rejoice greatly, daughter Zion. Shout, daughter Jerusalem. See, your king comes to you, righteous and victorious, lowly and riding on a donkey, on a colt, the foal of a donkey." Zechariah chapter 9, verse 9. The prophecy was fulfilled in every particular, and it was indeed a time of rejoicing as Jerusalem welcomed their king. Unfortunately, the celebration was not to last. The crowds looked for a Messiah who would rescue them politically and free them nationally. But Jesus had come to save them spiritually. First things first, and mankind's primary need is spiritual, not political, cultural, or national salvation. Even as the coatless multitudes waved the palm branches and shouted for joy, they missed the true reason for Jesus' presence. They could neither see nor understand the cross. That's why, as Jesus approached Jerusalem and saw the city, he wept over it and said, "If you, even you, had only known on this day what would bring you peace, but now it is hidden from your eyes. The days will come upon you when your enemies will not leave one stone on another, because you did not recognize the time of God's coming to you." Luke chapter 19, verses 41 through 44. It is a tragic thing to see the Savior, but not recognize him for who he is. There is coming a day when every knee will bow and every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. The worship will be real then. Also, John records a scene in heaven that features the eternal celebration of the risen Lord. There before me was a great multitude that no one could count, from every nation, tribe, people, and language, standing before the throne and before the Lamb. They were wearing white robes and were holding palm branches in their hands. Revelation chapter 7, verse 9. These palm-bearing saints will shout, "Salvation belongs to our God, who sits on the throne, and to the Lamb." Verse 10. And who could measure the sum of their joy? Want to learn more? Subscribe so you don't miss the next video. Visit gotquestions.org for more great content and check the details section below this video. There you'll find one book I recommend, along with several links to related questions. If you'd like to learn about Bible Munch, or if you're interested in bite-sized devotionals, subscribe to Bible Munch on YouTube. It's linked right here. Now remember, got questions? The Bible has answers. We'll help you find them.